Welcome to the many interpretations of one of my favorite extinct animals, the Paraceratherium. Paraceratherium was a genus of hornless rhinoceratoid that lived in the Oligocene of what is now Eurasia, with its first fossils being found in Pakistan. They were one of the largest land mammals to ever exist, with the largest known specimen to be estimated at 4.8 meters tall at the shoulder and a staggering 15 to 20 tons in weight, making them real heavy hitters of the Cenozoic. There are not too many media depictions of these amazing animals, but the ones that we do have are going to be absolutely awesome. So let's get right into it. We will start off with Journey into Time. I really like these older depictions of these animals because I like to see the methods that they use to bring these animals to life. This in particular seems to be using animation, of course, and it does seem to be cell animation, I believe. And it looks fantastic. I really like it. It seems like the background is also painted, which is always something that's really cool. And the animals look great. These pretty much set the standard for what we're mostly going to see. Most depictions are going to remain fairly consistent for this animal. It's not an animal that has changed too significantly, and there haven't been too many creative liberties taken with it. So a rhino on stilts is pretty much what we're going to be seeing for the most part. They are giant rhino relatives, so a lot of that does make sense. But these look really good. They have more so a gray coloration, huge pillar-like legs with relatively long necks. They are also shown browsing from the trees, which is something that is likely true for Paraceratherium. Of course, they have the adaptations for it, that aforementioned longer neck and huge legs. And it seems that they were so adapted for something like that that it was partially the reason why they went extinct. But we'll talk about that a little bit more as the video progresses. Anyway, we'll go ahead and move on from that. Next up is Walking with Beasts. This was my introduction to the genus. I absolutely adore this episode. This is probably my favorite episode in the entire documentary. I really like the story of this young Paraceratherium calf who has to grow and just endure the elements of this very unforgiving world, showcasing a lot of the behaviors that these animals might have possibly exhibited. I think it's very well done, and the designs are absolutely amazing. In fact, I think that they still hold up quite well. Most of the depictions that we're going to see, I think, hold up quite well. You have an overall kind of rhino-like appearance with that really pachyderm-like skin texturing, which looks really good. I really like the wrinkles, huge legs, and again, a long neck. It also does have the kind of proboscis on the front of its mouth, which kind of droops down right here. What exactly that look like has often gone back and forth with depictions. Sometimes you'll see it more like a tapir structure, or you'll see it more like how you see it on rhinos today. But everything about it, I think, looks really good. This is by far one of my favorites. And, you know, again, I just adore the episode. Of course, in the episode, they do refer to them as Indracatheres, and in the Walking with Wikis, they refer to them as Indracatherium. Now, we're going to be seeing that a few times as this list progresses, but Indracatherium was an old name for at least one of these animals, but it has since been synonymized with Paraceratherium. So every time you see the name Indracatherium used, it's actually Paraceratherium. So, yeah. Great. Let's go ahead and move on. Oh, also this episode is where I was introduced to Hyenodon, which was really cool. Even though they were oversized, of course, but it is likely that Hyenodon would eat Paraceratherium, at least when they were younger, of course. When they were larger, they likely didn't really have too many predators to worry about, but when they were younger, like shown in the episode, yeah, they probably had to worry. Next up, we have Life After Dinosaurs. This is also really good. This has a lot of the same things that we've already seen a couple of times. The skin texturing looks basically the same. Absolutely huge build. The skull seems to match up, which of course the skull looks like this. And everything else is remaining fairly consistent right here. Although it does seem like it doesn't have that aforementioned proboscis. But other than that, it does look really cool. And I want to mention this right here because I can actually see its feet. It does have 3 toes. Paraceratherium was a perissodactyl, which are the odd-toed ungulates. This includes horses and, of course, rhinos. That's one of the reasons why we know that their closest modern relatives are rhinos, is because of things like that. I just wanted to mention that really quick. I have no idea why. Let's go ahead and move on. After that, we have top 10 biggest beasts ever, which, yeah, that's fitting because, as I mentioned before, Paraceratherium is one of the largest land mammals to ever exist. I say land mammals because, of course, the blue whale is significantly larger. The blue whale is the largest animal, period, to ever exist. Like, not just the largest mammal, just the largest animal ever. We haven't found anything that was larger than the blue whale, which is cool because it still lives today. But in terms of land mammals, one of the largest was Paraceratherium. Now, of course, I emphasize the fact that it's one of the largest land mammals because there is possibly an animal that is larger than it, and that's this fella right here, known as Paleoloxodon pneumaticus. It seems likely that this straight-tusked elephant was larger than Paraceratherium, which is insane because, as I mentioned before, Paraceratherium is huge. But that brings me to another thing that I want to talk about really quick. And this seems like this is as large as mammals could get on land, both the Paleoloxodon and Paraceratherium. It doesn't seem like mammals were ever able to reach the same heights that, say, dinosaurs were able to reach to. And there's a few different reasons as to why that is, such as the way that like mammals breathe compared to dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, they're essentially breathing in and breathing out at the same time, which is a lot more efficient. Whereas with mammals, we breathe in and then we breathe out. But one of the biggest reasons why mammals are not really able to get that big is because of the way that we reproduce, as in the gestation period. Of course, mammals get pregnant, they give live birth, and because of that, they have a gestation period, which is a significant amount of time. An amount of time that takes a lot of energy from the mother and, of course, from the young individual that is being grown. That is something that is incredibly costly, and the bigger a mammal gets, the more time it takes for that process to undergo. For example, elephants today take 2 years before they can give birth. That is an insane amount of time, and by the end of that time, you'll only have one offspring to show for it. Compared to dinosaurs like the massive titanosaur sauropods that are able to lay a lot of eggs, and then, there's a better chance that more of them will survive, and then, the cycle can continue after that time, and they don't have to carry them through that whole term. They just lay them and they can leave, essentially. Mammals don't get that luxury. So it seems like realistically, animals like Paraceratherium and Paleoloxodon, that is as big as mammals could get on land. And it's all due to those restrictions that mammals face. Another is, of course, weight. The blue whale gets some advantages because it's in the water, but yeah, it's really interesting to kind of dive into that. The Rise and Reign of Mammals, which is a book I have up there, talks about this a little bit, and it's like a really fun read. I do recommend that if you guys haven't read that. Anyway, I got off track a little bit, but that's just something I wanted to talk about. This design looks really good. It looks just like a Paraceratherium, in my opinion. It has the skull that looks really good. The ears look great. I really like the eyes. I have no idea why, but the quality of the CGI looks fantastic. The modeling looks really good. The texturing, yeah, no notes. Looks fantastic. I just wanted to talk about the size of this animal in this section because this is the top 10 biggest beasts ever. Emphasis on the biggest. So I'm trying to pick and choose where I talk about these certain things. I don't want to just throw a bunch of information at once. But yeah, it's really interesting stuff that it's fascinating to me. Next up, we have Mysteries of the Giants. And a lot of the same things apply to this one. Looks really good. It looks pretty much how I would expect Paraceratherium to look. Again, I like the texturing of the skin. The quality of the CGI looks really good. I really like the wrinkles. No idea why. It just grounds it for me. Head looks good. The ears look good. The legs look good. All looks really good. And the younger individual looks good too. So once again, no notes. Now we have Carnivore's Ice Age, and this handsome fellow looks pretty dang good. Everything I've been talking about seems to be here. The proportions look pretty decent. I really like the animations too, especially that head shaking animation. I don't know what's going on with the legs though. I don't know if I don't know if that's meant to be something or if it's not. I don't know, but this does look really good. The colors look great. The model in general looks fantastic. I like the way that the head looks. The ears look really good. Yeah. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're an even-toed ungulate. And also you're called Indricotherium. Of course, this is an alien that just so happens to look like Paraceratherium. An alien that is localized to the planet of FMMUV32. So, yeah, explanations right there. But yeah, no, it looks really good. I really do like it. I think that most everything seems to line up pretty well, with a few exceptions here and there. But yeah, I like it. Very, very good. In Jurassic Park Builder, we get this handsome fellow right here. And again, everything matches up. One of the biggest differences is that it's called Indricotherium. And as I mentioned before, Indricotherium is just a name that is synonymous with Paraceratherium. So this is still Paraceratherium. Another big standout is that, of course, the more you level it up, the more different it becomes. And that's just in the colors for this game. It becomes a little bit more like greenish, then more bluish in coloration. And it gets these kind of giraffe spots, which is interesting. That's something that really makes it stand out. So that's just a very fun depiction, if you ask me. Here we have it in Jurassic World, the game. And yeah, I don't really have much to say in the way of differentiating it from the other ones. Pretty much everything else lines up. It starts off looking like this, just a plain coloration. And similar to Jurassic Park Builder, it gives it more so like some giraffe spots the more you level it up. And then once you get to level 40, it gives it a type of rhinoceros horn on the front as well as a little bit of some fur on the neck, which is very unique indeed. It is also known as Intricatherium here, which, once again, to reiterate, is just a junior synonym of Paraceratherium. But yeah, no, it looks really good, and it also has like a little bit of a pot belly going on. It is good though. I do really like it. I do think that Jurassic World the game does a very good job at the Cenozoic creatures. Now, Ark Survival Evolved. Ark designs are hit or miss for me. There's a lot of them that I don't really like. There are some of them that are just fine to me, and there are some of them that I do like. Paraceratherium is one that I do like, and that's because it looks pretty much exactly like the animal. Love this. Paraceratherium, again, is one of my all-time favorite extinct animals. So when I see it look exactly how the animal likely looked like in life, then it looks awesome. I love it. This captures that to a T. It does have more so a tan coloration, at least most of them do. I think some of them have different colors. The head looks really good. The neck looks great. The legs look great. And the rest of the body looks great. I don't have too much else to say. It looks great. I think that they did a fantastic job on it. It captures the animal quite well. It's huge, of course. Paraceratherium was a big animal. So yeah, good job on their part again. Then we have Genshin Impact. I think that's how you pronounce it. If I mispronounce that, I'm sorry. But many people told me to talk about the long-necked rhino of this game, and that intrigued me. So I look up a picture, and I love it. Now, from what I could tell, it seems like a lot of this was mostly inspired from sauropods, or maybe not inspired. Maybe it's just a coincidence that they look like sauropods, but they look a little bit more like sauropods with their proportions, how long that neck is, how long and thin it is. But of course, it is a rhino, a long-necked rhino. And Paraceratherium is something that is similar to that. So I think that this counts, and so I'd love to include it on the list. So here it is. It's got a yellowish orange coloration with some counter shading and some blues, and it just looks so cool. The head looks a lot like a rhino, a little bit stylized, but still looks very much like a rhino. Does have the kind of proboscis on the front, and it actually has a horn, which is something that is different from the Paraceratherium. And again, the neck is longer than Paraceratherium's. So, I don't know if it is specifically based off of Paraceratherium, but if there was inspiration taken from that, then that's awesome. All I really know is that I love this. This is one of my favorite stylized designs out there. It just looks really cool, and I'm so sad that I haven't heard about it until now. Okay, now we have the amazing prehistoric kingdom where you get two separate species of Paraceratherium. You get Paraceratherium bugtiense and Paraceratherium transaurilicum. I think I butchered both of those, but let's get them in there. Absolutely love them. They did such an amazing job on them. Great place to kind of talk about them. So this looks really good. As I mentioned, it has all of the details that I've mentioned many times in the rest of the video. This is the, I believe this is the largest species right here, which is larger than the other species that they have in said game.
Paraceratherium may look totally alien at first, but look again. You'll notice the resemblance to its modern relative, the rhinoceros. While a rhinoceros's smile could be considered rather unpleasant, the teeth of Paraceratherium make its smile something to behold. Beneath that long upper lip are two sets of tusks that point at odd angles from each jaw, making them look like they seriously need a visit from the dentist.
Yeah, Paraceratherium also had a really strange mouth. I'll see if I can get like a shot of them with their mouths open here, but it is very interesting. But yes, this is the largest species right here compared to the smaller species. And they just both look amazing. They look absolutely amazing. We see the Paraceratherium here basically heading towards the trees, maybe. I don't know if it actually was. But yes, as I mentioned before, Paraceratherium was a tree browser. And also, how I alluded to before, that was likely one of the reasons why it went extinct. See, they were really adapted for that. And so it seems likely that once elephant relatives showed up in the area, the environment changed. See, modern day elephants have been seen to kind of trample forests and things like that and create new environments out of that, like change forests into plains and whatnot. It's possible that that happened with Paraceratherium. The elephant relatives came in and destroyed a huge portion of the environment, and they lost a huge portion of their food source. That, coupled with things like rapid climate change and whatnot, it seems likely that Paraceratherium went extinct for reasons such as that, which is, of course, really quite unfortunate. Everything looks really good about this one. I absolutely love it. Look at those three toes. As I mentioned, they are perissodactyls. The odd-toed ungulates. I don't know why that stuff is always so fascinating to me. Just horses and rhinos in general are just really fascinating to me. But look how strange they are. It's just so cool. Now, of course, I'm not going to leave out Jushia, which is a relative of Paraceratherium. And they added Jushia in the game alongside Paraceratherium, which I love the fact that they did that. Yes, it is a smaller relative, but it does have a lot of anatomical features that are similar. This guy in particular, you can, see a lot that's similar with him and Paraceratherium back here. I also really like the mane that he kind of has on the back of his head. So yeah, there's Jushia and these two Paraceratheriums. Just all look gorgeous, and I just think that they did a fantastic job. I don't know what happened with that fence right there, but yeah, they look great. I love them. Actually, let's hear what Nigel has to say about Jushia.
Although it's much smaller than its cousin Paraceratherium, Jushia takes up just as much space in my heart. Its smaller size was likely an asset when trying to move around the dense jungle habitats it once called home. Though I use small relatively, because Jushia is still a massive animal by today's standards.
That's actually a big thing. It's like easy to kind of get caught in the comparisons, like relative comparisons, where it's like, yeah, Jushia is small because look how small it is to its close cousins, But it was still pretty big, It was still a big animal compared to us. It's just, I don't know, this stuff is fascinating. I love this game. I really like this game. I need to play this game more. I love this game. There they are. There are the buttes. And those were some of the depictions of one of my favorite extinct animals ever. If you enjoyed this video and you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. That really does help out a lot. We talk about all kinds of awesome like prehistoric content on this channel, ranging from games to movies to just informational videos and stuff like that. It really is an awesome time here. And of course, if you want to help support the channel and ensure that I can continue to make videos like this, please consider pledging to my Patreon page. All of your support really does mean a lot to me, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you. But I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and until next time, have an awesome day.